Siamo all'evento Gears of War Judgment a Parigi e siamo in compagnia di due personaggi di Epic e People Can Fly che si sono, diciamo, prestati a essere intervistati da noi, quindi evitiamo gli indugi e presentiamoli. So, hi guys, and thank you very much for having us here.
Happy to be here.
The game looks really awesome.
Thank you.
Big fan, so it's something that people always say, like, big fan, but I really am a big fan. So, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Jim Brown, and I am lead level designer with Epic Games.
I'm Waylon Brinck. I'm the art director at People Can Fly.
Watch out.
Yeah, it attacked me.
So let's talk about the campaign. We saw a brief moment of the campaign. We will be able to play it later on, so pretty excited. And you announced something really cool about the campaign, which is the Aftermath campaign.
Right. So Gears of War Judgment actually takes place 14 years before the original Gears of War game, and as you play through it, you are able to do some really cool stuff and get some unlocks, and the game kind of tracks your progress of how you're doing and then rates how well you've done in each chapter. And that's a rating of 0 to 3 stars per chapter, and each one accumulates. Those stars can then be used to unlock weapon skins, new characters in multiplayer, armor customization, and then ultimately when you get 40 stars you unlock a completely second campaign for the game called Aftermath. And the Aftermath campaign actually takes place at the end of Gears of War 3. So Gears of War Judgment is actually kind of bookends to the entire trilogy, so you get to play both before and after the original game.
So it sounds to me like a closure for the franchise, you know?
Well, it's really interesting in that we have locations and characters and things that kind of tie the entire story together. There's a few surprises in there that you'll see when you actually get to sit down and play.
So the previous game, Gears of War games were made by Epic. Now they passed the game to People Can Fly, which did another good game called Bulletstorm, which was a, may I say, badass game, even worse or better, it depends of Gears of War. And I'd like to know whether that was stressful for the team to tackle a big franchise like Gears of War.
Sure. Well, I actually joined the team right around when we were starting on Judgment. It was a really fantastic experience for the team. You know, we've got Epic at our backs. We've got an entire universe as a starting point. The real challenge was not just to meet the Epic quality bar, but to try to build on top of it and do something better. It really feels like standing on the shoulders of giants. But you know, we had a really close partnership with Epic. We weren't on our own. It's like everything we did was either brainstorming ideas back and forth, or you know, an example, even Baird, the concept art we did over at Epic, but the character was built at People Can Fly, and then some of the other members of Kilo Squad were built at Epic. So it's a real back and forth the whole way, and I think we got great support, and I hope we brought some of our own ideas and some of our own style to the game as well.
So let's get back to the game. You announced a new mode, which is called Overrun, and it's class-based, which is something new for the franchise. And I had the chance to test it last Friday, and I found it cool, but there is, in my opinion, maybe the locusts are a bit too much powerful in some cases. For instance, well, no, I don't want to spoil the game for everybody. So, but Overrun seems a very nice idea, and the class, was it tricky to introduce this element in the game?
Yeah, I mean, when we started to do it, we actually looked at Horde mode from Gears of War 2 and Beast mode from Gears of War 3, and we wanted to put the two together into one game type. And it worked right off the bat. It was really, really fun, especially to play as the Locust, because that's your chance to go be this big, crazy monster, right? And then you went and played as a human and you had a rifle. It wasn't as exciting. So we took a step back and we really looked at it, and we played a lot of MOBA games, we played a lot of RTS, we played a lot of RPG, and we started taking kind of the best of those elements and layering them into our really strong combat system. And what we ended up with was the 4 classes that you have in Overrun, where each character has a very, very specific role to play on the team. They have very unique weapons and their own special ability. And what you'll see as you play more is that those abilities start to kind of layer on top of each other and add in different ways. So it's really easy to just jump in and start shooting stuff and having a great time, but there's this whole extra added layer of depth on top that'll keep people coming back for a long time.
And let's change topic. There is something I always liked about the Gears franchise, which is the art of the game, the level design, which is always roundy, and it's not really the hedgy games you see usually. So I'd like to know whether this adds a layer of complexity on the design and actually the making of the levels and the game.
Sure. With this game, we wanted to take players back to Emergence Day. It's the day that essentially the world ended for Sarah. So other Gears games were all about destroyed beauty. Sort of, we're saying we're replacing the dust with smoke and fire. And I think showing the world as it was alive, showing a car where there's suitcases piled up next to it, like somebody was trying to escape the city, but they just didn't make it out, or a crack that appears in the ground right as you're walking past it. It's a great chance to take that Gears style and sort of give it an entire new story layer that really changes both the gameplay, the story, the visuals, all of that together. And then on top of that, we had a couple graphical improvements we wanted to make. I don't know how geeky you mind, but
you can go ahead, no problem.
Sure. We added a bunch of new features to the rendering engine. Dynamic iris system, a dynamic lens flare system, improved bloom, all kinds of stuff that essentially lets us get richer and more colorful lighting. But at the same time, we've gone for sort of a heavy, moody feel, like a really end of the world sort of feeling that I think will remind players a lot of Gears of War 1. So we've kind of tackled it from all of these different angles, and I think when you see the screenshots, when you get your hands on it, hopefully it all pays off.
All right, just a couple of questions more. Then I know you guys, you're very busy, and when I think back to the Gears of War franchise, I always remember some huge action-packed moments, like when the Jacinto is collapsing, am I right?
Yeah,
or the submarine mission in Gears 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And without spoilers, I would like to know if we can wait for we can see something coming like that in this new Gears.
I think that Gears is always known for being a little bit over the top, and that certainly hasn't changed with this game. One of the main things we've actually tried to do is to get people in the game a lot more as opposed to watching the game. So while we will have those big action-packed moments, in Gears of War Judgment you actually get to play through them and experience them a lot more than you ever have. And if you choose to, there's a lot more areas to explore, there's little vignettes and things to find, and stories that you can kind of make your own. So yes, we'll have those moments, but yes, we also have these new things that can kind of personalize the experience more toward how you play and what you're doing in the world.
And I guess it makes a game more a game and less a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And we wanted to be able, one of the main things we wanted to do with this game was to make it very highly replayable. And so every time you play, you're going to get a little bit of a different experience. We have a new spawn system called S3 that changes the enemies you fight every time you reload a checkpoint or come back or play co-op with a friend. And there's different dialogue options. So sometimes you'll hear new things that you haven't heard before. There'll be new areas that you can find that you haven't explored. And so you can very much make it, even though it's a story about Baird and Kilo Squad and their journey, it's also very much, as a player, it's your story, and that's very important.
Okay. Last question for both of us. What is the thing you're most proud for Gears of War Judgment?
I love Garen Paddock. He is awesome. He is such a cool new personality in the Gears of War universe. The voice actor is great, and it also gives you a view into a side of the world that you've never seen before. This is the Cog's old enemy, the UIR, who they fought during the Pendulum Wars, and they had just defeated right before the Locust attacked. So it's a chance to see a little bit of that side of the story.
I think for me, it was the chance as a developer to kind of step back and say, hey, we're not just going to do another Gears. We're not just going to throw more onto an existing story. We really took a step back and did everything from the ground up, from new controls to new spawn system to new game types to just on and on, the list goes on. And it was kind of interesting as a developer to be able to, even though I've been doing this one franchise for like a decade now, it was great to look at it from a fresh perspective and see the world as it were new. And so like as a player coming in the first time and just seeing these locusts and I don't know, it was just great to kind of have that fresh feeling again and start something over.
Very much for your time, and looking forward for trying the game.
Great, have fun.
On Emergence Day, Sarah cracked open and hell came bubbling to the surface. Now it's up to me, Lieutenant Baird, to round up Kilo Squad and send those grubs back down their holes.
Back in your holes! Boom, baby!
Now, since the COG and their infinite wisdom thought fit to court-martial my quote-unquote defiant ass, I'll be standing trial, all while Halvo Bay falls. You as the player can trigger optional challenges that unlock declassified testimony to learn how these missions really went down. These challenges truly modify the game, encouraging you to use specific weapons, fight more aggressive enemies, or introduce something totally new, guaranteed to make your palms sweat.
I can do that all day!
Conquering declassified challenges is key to earning a 3-star ranking at the end of every mission. More stars means more unlocks, including new characters, armor skins, and something special that, well, you'll just have to wait till March to find out. I don't kiss and tell. Actually, I do, but not here. Here it is.
Wait for it!
The all-new Smart Spawn system.
Whoa! Can't wait to smash heads!
S3 for short. It's a real game changer, folks. Every time you play, the action dynamically changes up. Now, there's no telling what kind of baddie is waiting around the corner. Take the Rager, for example. Once he's pissed and rages out, you'll have to deal with his bad attitude.
Damn! I can smell him from here!
A bullet sponge for sure. Smart soldiers like me aim for the head and take him out before he can transform.
Who's next?
Now this is more like it!
When it comes to guns, you'll be packing a powerful array of new hardware and trusty standbys.
Nothing but bits, sir!
For mid-range, try the new breach shot. For close range, nothing beats the sawed-off, which now holds 2 shots per clip. Get this, and for the first time, you can use any standard weapon in tandem with a boom shield.
Now I'm gonna hurt you!
During campaign, new dynamic encounters will see you and Kilo stopping to hold the line against waves of uglies. It's gonna get heated. Think defensively. Fight, fortify, and survive.
Turret is up!
You've got to protect those turrets at all costs. Once they're gone, there's no way to bring them back. And make sure you choose a good choke point when you lay them down. The onslaught is overwhelming. The action, frenetic. All these lovely monsters take orders from General Khan, maybe the most dangerous locust we've ever faced.
Let's shut that mouth of his! Oh yeah!
Get ready to move, Kilo!